Okay, can you build something in one weekend that makes $10,000 a month? Well, that is the question we're going to answer today. If you asked me this a couple years ago, I would have said no. But now in the age of AI, it seems like anything is possible. I've been doing a lot of research at Starter Story. I talk to a lot of founders and I look at a lot of businesses, and over, I'm seeing ideas that were built really quickly, prototyped really quickly, that eventually made $10,000 a month or even more. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the actual businesses that were built in a weekend and how it's possible that they now make $10,000 a month or more. And if you stay to the end, I'm also going to be sharing a business that's making $1 million a year. That was prototyped in a weekend. If you're looking for a project you can build this weekend, I think you'll really like this video because I'm going to be showing real businesses that are working right now. And if you're really serious about it, you can check out Starter Story Build, which is our program that will help you find an idea, build it with AI, and launch it into the real world. But without further ado, let's get into the ideas. Let's talk about them right now. Let's go. Okay, so the first idea I have here is AudioPen. This is an AI tool for transforming voice notes. It makes $15,000 a month. It was built in one day, and we have a solopreneur score of 91 out of 100. This is really cool. If you check out, I'll put a link in the description where you can check out this database. There's a bunch of ideas. I'm not gonna have time to go through all of them, but let's check out AudioPen and let's see what they do. So I'm gonna go to the case study here real quick. And what we have already here is the app I built in 12 hours now makes $15,000 a month. So let's go check out what this app does first and how it's possible that he made it in a day. Then we'll go take a look at how he built it, how he marketed it, and that sort of stuff. So it makes about $15,000 each month. And this is audiopen.ai. Let's check it out and let's read the website. This is a cool app. See, there's traffic on here. This is a cool app. It's got some decent traffic. This is a cool website, interesting website. The idea or the headline of the website says, go from fuzzy thought to clear text fast. So I guess what you do is, okay, you turn your voice notes into structured, perfectly edited text. You just speak into it and let AudioPen do the rest. That's actually kind of cool. Something that I do is I'll go for a walk and record a voice note or something like that. And I'll try to, if I'm trying to solve a problem or fix something or whatever, it's nice to just take a break and put your thoughts and then have the AI give you ideas or structure it. Maybe it's something you can send to someone. That's a cool idea. I can see how this business is successful, and I can also see how simple it would be to build something like this. I guess I can go in here and I can actually use it. Basically, you can talk to it and it will give you notes on that. First of all, one thing I noticed about this that's really cool is if I click on business here, I can see this guy's from Goa. That's in India. And while $15,000 a month isn't crazy money, right? I mean, I still think that's a life-changing amount of money to build a cool app and make a living off that app. But $15,000 a month in India, that's like crazy money. So I think that's cool about building online businesses and software companies and SaaS is that you can build it from anywhere in the world and you can serve US customers or you can serve worldwide customers. And you don't need to be anywhere specifically to build software. You can build it from your laptop in Bali or wherever. That's one of my favorite things about building software or doing media like we do at Starter Story. You can do it from anywhere. But anyways, let's go figure out how he built this thing. And I'm going to go check that out here. Describe the process. And this is our case study. You can go and see how he came up with the idea, but let's look at how he built the first version of the product. What I think is really cool here is that he designed the app before he built the app, which I think is really, really smart thing to do because it forces you to actually make the UX good before you go and start coding stuff. And that's actually really cool. This is something called wireframing. He basically designed the app before actually building anything in Figma and probably saved himself a ton of time. I mean, putting together designs in Figma is not that complicated to do. It has a bunch of templates and he kind of built the whole workflow right there, including the pricing and all this stuff. What this reminds me of, which I think is really cool, is one of our boot camps in Starter Story Build is the iOS boot camp. And this is actually exactly what our instructor, Roz, in there shares to do as well. There's a whole section right here, and this is Starter Story Build right here. There's a whole section about wireframing, which is basically putting together all the screens of the app and then feeding those into AI and having AI convert those into actual pages. That's amazing because how much time would that save of building unnecessary features because you wireframed it up in the first place? So I just thought that would be cool to share because that is actually what people are doing right now to build apps. That's super cool. Let's actually find out how he built this business in 12 hours because that does still seem kind of crazy. So in this section here, which is launching the business, I built the first version of AudioPen during an event called the half day build. A hackathon in which people aim to go from idea to revenue in 12 hours. Because of this, I was forced to build the simplest version of the product that people might pay for, and I did, and they did. Okay, that's amazing. That is amazing. This is kind of this idea. I love the word forced here because he gave himself basically like a manufactured timeline to build the simplest version of the product. Look, AudioPen is not that complicated of an app, right? There are far, far more complicated apps out there. He went and built the simplest version and he did it as fast as possible. There's this concept called Parkinson's Law, which is basically where you tell yourself you're going to build an app in 1 week, you will build the app in 1 week. It's like a human psychology thing. He said, I am forced to build this app in 1 day. And he did. And then he launched it and he got paying customers. And then he eventually was making $15,000 a month. And that's one thing that I want to comment there real quick is no, you're not going to build a project in a weekend and then magically make $15,000. But all these examples that I'm showing today are people that prototype the app and developed the beginnings of the app and got it to a place where people were actually using it, which then led to user feedback and growth and all these things where they eventually did make $15,000 a month. The key here is that, yes, it was built in a weekend, and then it was also launched in that same weekend. That's the biggest thing. Who cares if it only made a few dollars on launch or whatever? Most of the time, people will build something and they'll add a bunch of features and then it never gets launched. The launching is the key, and then getting people on the hook, getting people in there, using it, getting feedback. That's what then becomes an app that makes a lot of money. Yeah, let's talk about how he actually grew it, because I think that's also really important too. And this is right here. This is really cool, is that he was actually live tweeting, building in public the whole time. And actually he shares some of his tweets in here. When he was building it, he just said, this is what I'm building. And he wrote out the app. It got 115 likes and 25,000 views. This is this concept of building in public. And actually you can see his tweet right here is, hey, I'm building with Bubble, I'm building with OpenAI. Look, he's got all the Figma designs in here. He's recording his process. This is the biggest hack right now. Build stuff, share what you're doing, and you can't lose. That is my biggest piece of advice for anyone watching this is build something in a weekend, share that you built it, and you never know what is going to happen. I think that's super cool. And this is just an amazing example of a business that was built in 1 weekend that ended up changing this guy's life. Okay, let's keep going here. But first, I do want to just, again, shameless plug, Starter Story Build. This is our bootcamp where you will learn how to build cool things with AI, just like the app we just talked about there. These are all things that can be built with AI. And we have our AI app bootcamp and we have our iOS bootcamp. So if you're trying to build web apps, you can check out the AI app bootcamp. If you're trying to build iOS apps, you can check out our iOS bootcamp. These are both amazing. And basically in the course of 9 to 12 days, you'll find an idea, you'll build that idea, and you'll ship it to the real world, just like Lewis did here. Anyways, okay, let's go back to the database and let's go to our next idea. So I'm going to go check out this one here. This is just the next one in the list. This is Bolt AI, and this is a Mac app for integrating AI into workflows. I don't really know what that means, but let's find out. This makes $15,000 a month and was built in 2 days. Daniel Nguyen grew Bolt AI to $15,000 MRR rapidly. Daniel Nguyen, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Sorry if I got that wrong. But let's check out what this does. And this is one cool thing about our Starter Story case study. Some of them have this. It's just like, what problem does Bolt AI solve? When I'm looking at businesses, that's like what I want to really understand, because all good businesses solve painful problems. Any good business, is solving a painful problem. If you can find a painful problem, you can build an amazing business that changes your life. And when you start thinking about businesses in terms of problems rather than solutions, because businesses are solutions, but the most important thing is the problem that they solve. So let's understand this. Bolt AI. And this is coming up first here. This is cool. I'm just going to, the first thing I'm always doing is I'm checking out how much traffic. Is this a real legit website? We've done our research on Starter Story, and you can see that the numbers don't lie. This business is doing 100,000 to 150,000 in traffic per month. That's no joke. That's actually a lot of traffic. And let's understand what this does. Okay, this makes sense now. I can kind of see here. It's basically it's like a ChatGPT wrapper built into a Mac app. And that's actually super useful. I can imagine this being useful, especially if I want to, use Anthropic. I want to use Claude. I want to use Grok. I want to use all these different models. Maybe wouldn't be something that I would pay for personally, but I can see like AI power users loving this sort of thing. If people that like need AI, like live off of AI, this could be super useful and would be totally worth it, I think. I can see how he built this in a weekend, but let's understand a little bit more about how he built it. So Daniel Nguyen, leveraging his background in product engineering, the first version was developed using Swift. The initial prototype was completed during a weekend, though it was not aesthetically refined, which allowed for rapid feedback and iteration. And that's again what I just said last time too, is like, yeah, he didn't have a full app with pricing and everything fully automated and like chugging along. All he had was a prototype. And my guess, which we're probably going to learn a little bit about here, is that the number one thing is that he just built it and shared it, and then people loved it, I'm guessing, and then that turned into a crazy business. But let's go see and try to understand there. So I got this tweet here, how he grew the business. Well, how did Daniel launch Bolt AI and get his initial traction? This is what Starter Story is going to share. Building in public and social media. That's what I was just saying on the last one too. This is like such a hack, especially if you don't have funding, if you don't have a big team, marketing team, you can't spend money on ads. Building in public is such a hack. So let's go check out what he actually did. I mean, I'm looking at this post right here. This looks like maybe a launch post for what he built. And I'll put this into this. Okay, here, this is all he wrote was Bolt AI, all AI models in one app. That's kind of the premise we talked about, is you can have everything in one app. And this is just a cool kind of video that maybe he paid for someone on Fiverr to build. Look at this. This is crazy. 251,000 views on this post, 63 comments, 833 likes. This probably led to a bunch of users, potentially even thousands of users, hundreds, if not thousands of users that used his thing and eventually turned into a business that probably changed his life. And I go to his page right now and it has this little counter right here. And it says, here's how close I am to $1 million. And I'm guessing that's $1 million a year. He's about halfway. So that tells me that this app is potentially making more than $15,000 a month. That's the number that we had from when we did his case study. But it's potentially making, I don't know if he has other products and that sort of thing, but it could be even more. My guess is more, especially with, how fast AI is growing, how many people are just hungry for these tools, and how much traffic he had on his website. Let's talk about similar ideas around this. And this is a cool little feature of Starter Story is you can click this little remix button right here. And anybody who's watching this, you can go and use this database and you can remix this idea. And what's cool about this is you can ask it, okay, it's going to take all this information about what made this successful. Let's ask it how, there could be other ideas. What made this successful? How can we apply that to an idea? Can you help me find more ideas like this? Look at what made this successful and give me a couple ideas, please. Okay, so I'm not have time to go through all these, although I think these are pretty decent ideas. And you could, if you have access to Starter Story, you can also try this out. But I like this one right here. This is called Legal Pad AI. This is a super cool idea. And the idea is that his app that he built was very kind of general, like anybody can use it. But what if you hyper focused on a vertical? What if you made this app, but for just lawyers? It was more focused on lawyers or doctors or accountants who need to have private AI, but also like more specific to what they're building. On-device AI assistant for lawyers that summarizes drafts and messages. That could be pretty cool. And that could potentially work. I mean, I was actually talking to someone who built a business similar to this that's doing $20,000 a month for a very, very specific profession. I can't say specifically what that was because they wanted to keep it private, but it was like just for one individual profession. So think fitness trainers. It was just an AI app built for them. They were doing $20K a month, and I'm sure it's still growing. And that's the power of this sort of AI, is that if you can help people save time, improve their workflows, let them live their life and let AI take over for a lot of the monotonous tasks that they have to do. This is a huge opportunity right now. Okay, let's go and do one more. And I see this one here called 4-Day Week. This is a job board for flexible 4-day week roles. And, well, okay, right. Yeah. This is a job board for flexible 4-day week roles. And they're making $1 million a year, $83,300 monthly. And it was built in 2 days. This is crazy. Let's actually try to figure out what's going on here. So let's check out 4-day week here. Solopreneur built a 6-figure job board in 30 hours. Again, let's understand more about this. Okay, so pretty straightforward, but actually kind of interesting because I remember when this was sort of a thing, or maybe it's still a thing, is like there's a 5-day week, right? Monday through Friday. There's a concept that's maybe gaining traction, or some companies use it to get more employee or to get top talent for their company. It's the 4-day week. So, hey, you come in on Monday through Thursday and you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. That's cool. And basically what it seems like they did is they built a job board for companies that have 4-day weeks. Super niche. But this business makes $1 million a year. Let's find out how they actually do that. So let's understand how he was able to launch this so quickly. So initially, he created a simple landing page using Webflow and shared it on Hacker News to gauge interest. After receiving 400 signups in the first 2 days, then he saw the potential, and then he proceeded to build a more robust version using React, blah, 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 blah. And this is the same thing we talked about. This is the real theme here is it's not that these apps made $1 million in a weekend, but they prototyped a simple enough version and then they validated that idea. And then that gave them the conviction, the gumption to go and make it better because people were already excited about it. They were on board. He got 400 signups without really creating anything. That's the most important thing. So if you're watching this right now and you want to go build something this weekend, build it, launch it, don't put pricing on it, don't do anything, and just launch it on Reddit, on Twitter, on Hacker News, and just try to get some interest. Get that hit of dopamine when people visit your site, sign up, and tell you built something cool. Let's go look at that. Let's go find that Hacker News post that he did because I think that'll be cool to see. So let's do Hacker News, show HN 4-day week. Okay, this is the Hacker News post right here that essentially changed his life and turned into $1 million business. And I love to find this stuff and then see how kind of small it was during the time. Like if you look through this, yeah, there are some comments, but it's not like hundreds of comments. It's not thousands of comments. It's a couple then and some upvotes. It's got 70 upvotes. This post right here changed this guy's life. And I click the link here, it goes to his page. And we haven't even looked at his page yet, but this is 4-day week. Find a 4-day week job. And that's pretty much what it does, right? It's got all the companies that have 4-day weeks. And let's go check out the traffic on this thing. Wow. Okay. This is doing 231,000, 244,000, and 255. So it's growing. And this is an awesome business. What I don't truly understand is how this business makes $1 million a year. Let's do a little bit of math on that calculation to see how that's possible. How do they make money? My guess is that companies pay to post jobs. So let's go and post a job here and let's see what this costs. Job ads starting from $199 per month. Okay, interesting. That seems kind of high, but actually it's kind of genius. So now I can kind of back into that math of okay, how many customers do you need to make $1 million a year? And this is kind of, I think, a cool exercise to do. If they're making $83,000 a month, let's divide that by 300 because probably they have some upsells and that sort of thing. And let's see how many. Okay, so $1 million business for them means 276 companies posting jobs, or companies posting 276 jobs. And that's really not that much when you think about it, right? 1,000 would be a lot. 10,000 would be a lot. But this is really just 276 job posts at around $300 per month. That's an amazing life-changing business. And if I divide that by 30, I can tell you how many there are per day. Only 9 jobs need to get posted per day. And as you can see, there's a decent amount of traffic coming on here. Companies want to get in front of this audience and they're willing to pay because it costs a lot of money to hire people. I think that's amazing business. That's super cool. Okay, let's try to remix this idea. What I think is really cool about this idea is that they took a pretty small trend, 4-day week. There's not that many businesses. It's a really, really niche kind of thing. But then they built $1 million business off of this idea. So what other employment related trends could you build a job board around? Let me ask it. What other employment related trends like the 4-day week could you build a job board around? I'm not going to be able to go through all these right now, but one of them kind of stuck out to me here, which is ROWE jobs, ROWE, which is results only work environment. I didn't know there was a name for this, but it's something that I do believe in, is that you feature jobs at companies that have adopted ROWE, which is measuring work by output, not by hours clocked. Meaning if you show up, if you do your work and it takes you 1 hour, I don't care as long as you have results, right? You do the results and like, I don't care about your hours that you worked. That's super cool. I could see how that's kind of a similar play as 4-day week. Or if you have some sort of thing that you work on, maybe you're a product manager or something like that, maybe there's an idea there too. So lots of ideas for job boards. I think job boards are a very, very underrated idea. You can build it in a weekend, obviously, which is what this video is about. And they're a really, really, really good business. Okay, that's it. Those are 3 ideas that were actual real businesses that were actually built in a weekend that are now life-changing businesses. One of them is even making over $1 million a year. If you like these, you can check out the link in the description. If you could imagine yourself building something similar, building something in a weekend, seeing what happens, just like the 3 people and 3 businesses we talked about today, then definitely check out Starter Story Build. I'll put a link in the description. It's kind of the same idea. You build something, you put it out into the world, and you see what happens. Definitely check that out. I think it's amazing. Looking at some of the stuff that's been built in there, it just blows my mind what's possible with AI and how cool it is to build something, put it out into the world in a weekend. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to get access to this database, I put a link in the description. You should be able to get access to some of the items in here and go and check out some of them. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this format. Keep building, keep shipping. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.